Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 4, lesson 5. We're going to be converting measurements of units. Now this is a tough lesson, so it's very important that everything we go over that we really focus. So we're going to be converting larger units to smaller units. And then same thing, but converting smaller units to larger units. So RealWorld Link. The table shows the approximate weight in tons of several large land animals. 1 ton is equivalent to 2,000 pounds. You can use a ratio table to convert each weight from tons to pounds. This is so ratios. This is a good word to remember because we're going to be doing ratios a lot in other chapters as well. This is number 1, complete the ratio table. The first 2 ratios are done for you. To produce equivalent ratios, multiply the quantities in each row by the same number. So what this means is, this is 1 times 2,000 equals 2,000. 4 times 2,000 equals 8,000. 5 times 2,000 is going to be 10,000. And 8 times 2,000 is going to be 16,000. Number 2, use the coordinate plane shown. Graph the ordered pairs from tons to pounds from the table in the coordinate plane. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the graph. So 1 ton, this one's going to be tons, and this is going to be pounds. X-axis is tons, y-axis is pounds. So at 1 ton, we're at 2,000 pounds. At 4 tons, we're at 8,000. At 5 tons, we're at 10,000. And at 8 tons, we're at 16,000. Nice thing is going to be a constant straight line. This is label the axis weight in tons. Oh, okay. Weight in tons. And then label the horizontal axis or the vertical axis weight in pounds. So weight in pounds. Connect the graphs and describe the graph. It is a straight line. So that's the RealWorld Link. Now we're going to be converting larger units to smaller units. So each relationship in the table can be written as a ratio. For example, we know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. You can use the ratio 3 feet over 1 yard to convert from yards to feet. So some things that we really need to take from this table. This conversion table, refer back to it. Always refer back to this table when you need help. This table is going to be a lifesaver. Another thing I would like to point out, that this ratio here, 3 feet over 1 yard, is equivalent to 1 yard to 3 feet. We'll go over this section, we'll go over that later in the lesson. But just know that those two are equivalent. And then it says, like a unit ratio is one which the denominator is 1 unit. So the ratio 3 feet over 1 yard is a unit ratio. Dimensional analysis is the process of including units of measurement as factors when you compute. Alright, so example 1, converts 20 feet to inches. So this is going back to the table. we know this is length. So 1 foot equals 12 inches. That's the very first one. So this is, since 1 foot is 12 inches, the unit ratio is 12 inches to 1 foot. Now this is what I do, is I create like a, so we have 20 feet. And what this table is when you go across here, here and here, you multiply. But when you go from side to side, you divide. This is the method I like using. You don't have to use this method if this doesn't make sense to you. So the unit ratio is 12 inches to 1 foot. So we're doing feet 2 inches. So the thing I know is if I want to convert it from feet to inches, I'm going to put inches on top and feet on bottom. This is where my ratio is going to go. So this is 12 inches to 1 foot. The reason I want feet on bottom is because since I'm dividing up and down, my feet are going to cancel each other out. So now all I'm left over is 20 multiplied by 12 inches. So 20 multiplied by 12 inches is going to give me 240 inches. And then divided by 1 is still going to be 240. So I'm just going to kind of recap what I just did. I created the table. So 20 feet is what I'm starting with. My ending point is inches, so inches can go on top, and I need feet to go on bottom. That way I can cancel out my my feet, because I have to get rid of my feet. I can't do 20 feet times 12 inches. So I have to get rid of my feet. So feet divided by feet are going to cancel. So just remember this is dividing up and down, and then up and down is dividing, and then side to side is multiplication. So now that I got rid of my feet, I can do 20 times 12 inches. So just remember, get rid of your feet. We have to have the same units. And then, so after we multiply, 20 times 12 equals 240 inches. Alright, so I'm actually going to do A with you guys. So we have 36 yards. And I know that, and we're converting to feet, so I'm going to have feet on top, and I need my yards to cancel, so I'm going to put my yards on the bottom. So I know there's 3 feet in 1 yard. I can also go back to the table. So 1 yard equals 3 feet. So I have my ratio of 3 feet to 1 yard. Now my yards are going to cancel. And then now, since they're side to side, we multiply these together. So 36 times 3 feet is going to give me 108 feet. So I want you to try B and C. So go ahead and pause the video and see what you can get. So I did not provide the answers for you because I kind of want to work you through this, because I know with the fractions and mixed numbers, it does kind of make it a little bit tougher. So when we have a unit in a fraction, the unit is actually attached to the top. So I can write this as 3 tons over 4. And then we need this to be in pounds. So I know my tons need to be on bottom. So 1 ton is going to equal 2,000 pounds. So now that I have my tons on top and bottom, my tons are going to cancel. And I can do either or. I can multiply 3 times 2,000 first, or I can divide first. Because 3 and 4 do not divide, but 2,000 and 4 do divide. So if I do 2,000 divided by 4, that's going to get me 500. And then I'd be doing 3 times 500 equals 1,500. Or I can multiply first. So 3 times 2,000 is going to equal 6,000 pounds. And then 4 times 1 equals 4. So now I have 6,000 pounds divided by 4. And that's going to equal 1,500 pounds. Got to make sure you have the units. If you don't have the units, your answer is wrong. I'll tell you that right now. So now we're going to try C. So since we have a mixed number, we need to make sure we change 1.5 to a improper fraction. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so we can do 3 over 2. So like we did previously, I'm going to do 3 quarts, and then over 2, and then pints. So my pint is going to go on top, and I need to get rid of my quarts, so my quarts is going to go on bottom. So I'm going to go back on my table. It says 1 pint equals 2 cups. That is not what I need. Right here it says 1 quart equals 2 pints. So I'm going to create my ratio. 2 pints equals 1 quart. So now my quarts, I have 2 quarts. Those are going to simplify, so those cancel each other out. As well as my 2s. I can actually, since I have a 2 on top and a 2 on bottom, those cancel out and those change to 1s. So I have 3 times 1 equals 3 pints. And then 1 times 1 equals 1. So my final answer is 3 pints. Make sure you have units. Make sure you have your units. Make sure you have your units. Pints. That is my unit. And I know I say that multiple times is because I continuously see that students always forget to put the units down. So example 2, Marco mixes 1.25 cup of fertilizer with soil before planting each bulb. How many fluid ounces of fertilizer does he need per bulb? So we're converting cups and fluid ounces. So I'm going to do my method and the book's method. So I have 1 cup to 4, so 1 over 4. And then ounces, I need my cup on bottom, that way I have the correct ratio. So 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So I'm going to create my ratio. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So my cups are going to simplify. And then my 8 and 4, I can do the cross division. They both have compatible numbers of 4, so I can divide each of them by 4. And those are gonna, so this changes to a 1, that changes into a 2. So I have 1 times 2 equals 2 ounces. And then 1 times 1 equals 1, so my final answer is gonna be 2 ounces. Or I should say 2 fluid ounces. That's my way. The book way is pretty similar. You take 1/4 a cup times 8 fluid ounces over 1 cup. And then my cups cancel. 1 times 8 equals 8 fluid ounces over 4. And that's going to equal 2 fluid ounces. So I should be putting a FL for fluid ounces. So go ahead and try D. So after trying D, I set it up. I have 1/8, so I have 1 on top, 8 on bottom. Miles. Make sure in miles you put MI because you don't want to confuse miles with meters. So I have 1/8 of a mile. We're converting to feet. So I put my feet on top, miles on bottom. My ratio is 5,280 feet over 1 mile. So after multiplying 1 times 5,280 feet equals 5,280 feet. 8 times 1 equals 8. So 5,280 feet divided by 8 is going to be 660 feet. So now that we did larger units to smaller units, now we're going to do smaller units to larger units. So this is when I said, remember that the ratio is 1 yard over 3 feet, and 3 feet over 1 yard are equivalent. So to convert from smaller units to larger units, choose the ratio that allows you to divide out the common units. So it gives you an example. And the thing you want to look at is in this one, we're converting from feet to yards. So we have feet here, and then the feet are on the bottom. That way the feet can cancel out. So that's the way we want to work. The other way is using the wrong ratio. If we have 12 feet times 3 feet over 1 yard, that answer is going to give us 36 feet squared over 1 yard. And that's not what we want. That's a no. That's a no-no. Okay? So make sure that we have the units, top and bottom. Those are the ones that need to match. That way they can cancel each other out. So example 3, convert 15 quarts to gallons. So we have over here, we have 15 quarts, and then I'm changing that to gallons. So I'm gonna have my quarts on bottom. So I'm gonna go back to my table. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So I'm gonna make my ratio. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So now I'm going to quarts and quarts cancel out. 15 times 1 equals 15. And I could just put a 1 right here. 1 times 4 equals 4. So I have 15 quarts to over 4. And then after dividing that into 15 gallons over 4. And after dividing those out using long division, my final answer is going to be 3 and 75 gallons. So that's going to be 3 and 3/4 gallons. So yeah, 3 and 75 hundredths gallons. So go ahead and try E, F, and G. So here's what I got for the got it. So for E, we have 2,640 feet. And the ratio we're going to use is 1 mile over 5,280 feet. So the feet are going to cancel, and then I'm going to multiply across, and then I'm going to divide down below. So we get 2,640 miles divided by 5,280 feet. So our final answer, after you reduce, you get 1/2 of a mile. For F, is very important. There's actually 2 different kinds of ounces. There's the weight ounces, and then there's fluid ounces. Since we're converting to pounds, we know we're going to use the weight ounces. So my ratio is going to be 1 pound to 16 ounces. So I have 100. I have my ounces that cancel out. 100 times 1 equals 100. 16 times 1 equals 16. So now I have 100 pounds over 16. I need to reduce. So I have my largest compatible number between 100 and 16 is going to be 4. So I divide 100 by 4 and 16 by 4, and I reduce to get 25 over 4. And as a mixed number, that's going to be 6 1/4 pounds. Now for G, I ran out of space to work. And G actually didn't do, because this is actually going to be a few steps. We need to convert 3 cups into however many pints. So I'm going to go back to my table. And we have 1 pint equals 2 cups. So we have 3 cups. And then I need to have my 2 cups here and my 1 pint here. So my cups are going to cancel out. So I get 3 pints over 2, which equals 1.5 pints. So I just wanted to do one example with you guys. So now we're going to look at example 4. We have Umika needs 4.5 feet of fabric to make a costume for a play. How many yards of fabric does she need? So she has 4.5 feet, but it's asking how many yards of fabric does she need. So we'll convert from feet to yards. So 4.5 feet, so 2 times 4 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9, is 9 over 2 feet. So I'm going to make my little thing 9 feet over 2. And my feet's going to go on bottom, and I need to convert this to yards. So I know 1 yard equals 3 feet. And I do have some compatible numbers, so I have 3 and 9 have a compatible number of 3, so I can reduce this. That changes to a 3. And 3 divided by 3 is going to be 1. So now I have 3 times 1 yard equals 3 yards, and I have 2 times 1 equals 2. So I have 1.5 yards. So before we go, I know my class, this is more for my class. On your homework, I did include the conversion table to help you guys on your homework. I know this is a long lesson, it was a lot of information, but I have all the confidence that you guys can master this. So thank you for watching.